Hey guys, let me share the link for everyone. I'm at an Airbnb. I'm not home, and so the internet's a little more finicky, but it's okay. I think we got it going. It's mainly just because of the rain. I find that whenever it rains in Mexico here, um, it affects the internet. Zing. Okay. Perfect. I just sent out to the group. I'm going to send one more area just to let them know. Got to automate this a little bit more, I'm realizing, which is cool though. I found this system. Honestly, that's why I think transitioning everything to Discord, once we do that fully, we'll be good. Still going to have, for those of you in it, of course, the private Signal group forever. Just keeping everyone together. But Discord will make it so we can just like automatically just have the notifications and the links and all that, so I don't have to text them. But anyway, beyond the point. Today I'm definitely going to go through charts. One of the biggest things that I'm going to talk about before though is energy, because it's so present in my life. And I'm going to go deep into energy. I also want to talk about entities, etheric entities. So energy is it's the ether, right? The ether, it's the space around us that we can't always, like, we can't see. You can't see the cell phone waves, right? The radio frequencies, Wi-Fi waves, right? All these things that we can't see, they're all existing. And there's all those things going on that we can't see for the most part. Some people can. Sometimes I can if I'm a really high frequency state. Sometimes that involves some kind of plant medicine or something. I don't do that very often anymore, but anyways, there's a lot going on in the ether. A lot. Okay, the radio waves, cell phone waves, all that. The chi, the prana, the energy, the source energy that we breathe in, right? Let alone the particles of oxygen, right? And carbon dioxide. And there's also thoughts. All the thoughts are present in that area. And the higher frequency we are, the more space we have for ourselves, we can tap into those thoughts of other people and ideas. And actually, when it comes to ideas, in my opinion, there's not really such a thing as an original idea, to an extent, because I believe that we're all connected, and I believe that any thoughts or any ideas that anyone has, let's say it's about technology, an invention, a business, or anything, even just the fact that you're thinking it means that it is present, it is available in the ether, and it is available and accessible for anyone and everyone. Okay. And so how do we work with that? How do we expand on that? What does that mean for us? So in my life, when I was younger, was more conscious of this stuff, even more conscious than I am now. But I didn't know how to work with it. And actually, I don't want to say more conscious than I am now. I think I went through this as we're younger, we're pure, we're clean, right? Our minds, our bodies, our spirit, we haven't added ego or bad food or anything. It's easier to be more conscious and aware. So when I was a kid, I wasn't like crazy, superpower with my, what's the word, with being like a clairvoyant or psychic or whatever. But when I was a kid, my mom would take me to these counselors all the time. And it was because I would tell her that I was seeing shadow people, I called them. And so in shadow people, what I see it as now is that this etheric, this space, the quote veil, it's already thin. It's called a veil. Veils are thin. but we can have access to that. And though the people there, the things there, the beings, the energies, all that can also influence this world. So people call it the spirit world. Yeah, it's all present. The astral as well. You know, I think it's the same. It's all the same thing. So when we're unconscious of it, it'll run our lives and we'll call it fate. Oh, it's just fate. It just happened to me. It's just fate that this happened to me. Right. But actually, we are active creators in our life. And if we're not, if we don't believe that we're active creators in our life, we're still actively creating our life, you know, even though if it might seem like it's on autopilot. And so there's a lot of things that go into, you know, in with what our life experiences are and all that. But we, at one point or another, this life or the previous, this realm or a higher realm, we chose all the experiences, at least all the types of experiences that we would have, you know, like we would say, hey, I want to learn, when I go to Earth, I want to learn patience, you know, like there's a million ways you can learn patience, right? I want to learn to become wealthy. I want to learn to manipulate matter with my mind, right? All these things that people come to Earth to learn to do. And so, where am I going with this? First of all, I want to just talk about things to hopefully bring a little bit more awareness to you, but I might just be repeating stuff that you already know. But whether you believe that this stuff exists or not, it exists. So you don't have to believe it's still going to be there, still will affect you. And it's actually will affect you more if you're unaware of it. And if I was there are beings, for instance, there are entities who feed off of fear. Some called demons, some called, you know, they're called demons or just spirits, whatever. It's just how it goes. Just like there are other beings who feed off of love and who get growth and expansion out of love, right? And so I'm one of those. Like I get better and feel better and higher if I'm experiencing and receiving more love and sharing more love. But those beings, whether they're beings that are associated with love or not, once again, they still can affect us, and especially they can affect us if we are unconscious of the fact that they're there. Okay, why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing this up because in my space, this has happened many times in my life where I've been around someone or something that was inviting negative entities or energies or experiences around all the time. So everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. Okay. So when it comes to positive entities, negative entities, we will only be able to come into contact with the things that we are vibrating at or similar to. Every thought is a frequency. Every feeling is a frequency. Okay, so we're constantly emitting energy. We're constantly receiving energy. If we are around someone, okay, for instance, let me show you how this is why I want to bring consciousness to it, but let me show you how this has affected my life when I was unconscious of it. There were times in my life where I felt like no matter what, I would wake up and I would just feel immediately wake up, get out of bed, and I would feel like depressed and anxious and sad and just like thinking about all the negative things going on in my life and how it sucks and how I can't. And like it would go that way for a couple hours until I was woken all the way up. I had moved some energy, maybe gone to the gym, gone out, gotten space. And then I'm like back at my positive self again, which is like my normal self. And I just thought that it was like, oh, it's just part of sleeping. You know, just something just like you got to deal with sleeping. I had accepted that I couldn't wake up feeling on top of the world, all positive and abundant. What I didn't realize is that I had roommates that were going through crazy depression. And so just the frequency of them being in a depression, not only the frequency that it is, we're all beings who we tap into energies. Once again, whether you like it, whether you know it or not, energies and the frequencies around you will affect you, will definitely, especially if you're not conscious of them. Now, we can do things, we can do practices, energetic practices to make it to where they can't touch us, right? When I said everything's an energy, a frequency, and vibration, what do we need to do to rid ourselves of any of these entities or energies or beings or even people who are a lower frequency? We simply just need to vibrate at a higher frequency. And just like that, it's like tuning the radio to a different station. If we're vibrating at a different frequency than any entity, being, or, you know, some people call things demons, like they won't be able to see us. They can't touch us because we're in a completely different frequency. Just like you can't hear the country music on the rap music station, right? It's, you got to go to a different station. You got to tune in. So when we feel negative, though, it is, and it can be other people's feelings we're tapping into, but also that also means that if we're able to be affected by it, there is some part of that negative feeling or experience that we have within us, some part of the frequency that can align with us. So it tells us areas where we might doubt ourselves or not feel good in our subconscious, because if it's affecting us, then there's something about it that we're aligned with, if you will. So as I started to do things to purify my energy, to go into my subconscious, to eliminate any negative traumatic experiences, which caused me to have negative thought patterns, what I was doing is every time I have a negative thought, I'm tuning into the frequency of negativity and everything that's associated with negativity. Okay. But if I can keep my thought patterns positive, abundant, expansive, then I'm tuning in with everything that's positive, abundant, and expansive. Right. So I'm saying this because, one, I want to bring awareness that if you at all ever feel bad, down, sad, if you feel completely drained and you don't know why, what I would first start to look at, and you're like trying to think of, like me, I was trying to think of, dang, is it something I'm eating? Do I need to have a magic pill? Maybe I need turmeric. Maybe I need vitamin B. Maybe I need this. Maybe I need that, right? Taking all these things just so I could feel good. What I wasn't doing was I wasn't looking at energy. And as soon as I started to purify my energy field, and I started to tune myself higher, go into the limiting belief systems that I had in order to reprogram them for higher ones, so that my average thought patterns were positive consistently all the time. Then I started to notice that I was consistently feeling good all the time, consistently. So I have, yeah, I'm saying this because it's becoming, you know, it's something that's becoming present again in my life. And I used to feel like when I started to be conscious of spirits and entities and things, and like when I was feeling bad all the time, I was starting to feel like I was like always attacked, you know, like it was just like, I feel good for a couple days and something would happen where I would just feel like I was being attacked. No matter what I did, I couldn't get it past it. And once again, when I started purifying my energy, started purifying my awareness, it was like they just went away. The quote, spiritual attacks just stopped happening. Now, when I talk about spiritual attacks, I do mean a couple things. I mean that I literally have experienced many times in my life, specific entities, that either spirits that may have been human at once or maybe never were human, and they stick around someone who is sad or depressed or has potentially those thoughts in them, like I did, and they'll put thoughts, negative thoughts, impulsive thoughts into your mind, try to get you to act on it, to move forward in that negative energy and frequency. And so once again, as soon as I started doing things to purify my energy, to purify my spirit, to purify my subconscious mind, and it's a consistent practice. I'm not perfect. I'm always working on it still. But as soon as I started, these quote spiritual attacks started to really slow down. And actually, for the most part, I don't experience it. It's very, very rare. I'm being super open. I don't usually talk about this stuff with people because most people just like don't understand it. And I've dealt with that my whole life, but it's okay. I'm really conscious and aware and comfortable with who I am and what everything is now. A couple nights ago, I was up till 3 a.m. just and feeling inspired. Sometimes I feel really creative at night. And I had experienced that again. Like I could literally feel an entity like coming in, like you could feel the energy, like this cloud had just like started to move into the house. And so I know some banishing practices to really clear out energy, really powerfully, really fast, really strong. But yeah, it brought my awareness to it again. And so this is definitely something I want to share more, because we are moving, whether you like it or know it or not, we are moving towards a more conscious, more abundant, more expansive world. And it's not going to happen overnight, that's for sure. These old systems have been around for hundreds of thousands of years. They're going to slowly fall away. So there's going to be a little rocky, but the cool thing is we create our own reality. So the whole world might be rocky, but your world will be as solid or as rocky as you believe that it will be. So if you believe that you're good and you're taken care of and you're solid, no matter what happens in the world, you will experience that in your life. Yes, when it comes to money. Yes, when it comes to your spirituality. Yes, when it comes to your consciousness, all of it. The outer world, it's the knowing, right? When we know how to disconnect from it, that's when it will happen easier. So, anyways, whole tangent, but I want to know, first of all, did anyone have any experiences they want to share? Do you have any thoughts on the things that I was just talking about? Is there anything that you want to express or you have questions about? So what's your take on sleep paralysis? Great question. This is another subject that just came up yesterday and today when I was talking about some of these things, actually with my girlfriend, Mia. And sleep paralysis, I believe, is most of the time, if you wake up and you're having sleep paralysis, it usually is an entity that is trying to get you to feel fear. It's caught you in this state. When we're sleeping, we're easier, we're not as protected, right? When we have our energy and our willpower, we're awake and we're focused. We're protected a lot more. We have more power over our focus. But when we're in a dream state, when we're in a sleep state, we don't have as much power over where our focus goes, not as strong. It can be developed, by the way. Most people, I want to say, don't have as much strong willpower or consciousness when they're sleeping. I'm one that I get to work on that. But my experience specifically of sleep paralysis is that most of the time it is an entity who is basically got you in this place of half asleep, half awake, to get you to feel more fear, to where they can suck that energy from you and be empowered. So they can be more empowered by taking your energy. But I won't want to say that that's what it is 100% of the time. I do also believe that those of us that are more aware, conscious, like I've had sleep paralysis a few times, but I will tell you that as soon as I started doing practices to purify my energy, to purify my spirit, to banish any negative things, the sleep paralysis completely stopped. So that's why I feel it is more other entities. But I don't want to say for sure. I will say also that when I have astral projected a couple times, there's been a few times with astral projecting that I experienced like I was stuck. And then I started to feel like a little panicky, and that feeling of being panicky invited other negative entities, right? They can feel it, that's how they see it. It's like sharks in the water smelling blood. So, yeah, I got other texts here really quick. Sleep paralysis is an amazing opportunity to become conscious of it, to release fear, and through creativity can leave your body and soul and use. Yes. So that's exactly, that's one thing I want to say is with sleep paralysis, I do believe it's caused by another entity, but they only feed off of fear. If you can conquer that and you can control your fear, and not allow yourself to feel fear, then it doesn't matter. They'll go away. They're not getting what they want out of you. And so that's part of with my banishing, but the techniques that I used for banishing and for clearing and stuff like that. A big part of it is standing in my power. And the way that I do that is I know my divine essence, and I know the power of that which created me. I know of it. I don't know probably the full extent, right? So whatever you want to call the divine creator, the universe, right? The all, everything that exists around us, the consciousness that we're able to access, that we breathe in, all of it. I know that power. And so if I ever have an entity like that comes around me, which is very rare nowadays, I just stand in my power. I start to breathe in light. I talk about a lot of the practices to you guys, breathing in light. I start to breathe in this brilliant chi, this prana, and I like to see this like fire building around me. And then I will literally out loud, I'll command, or I will energetically visualize light or this brilliant white or violet flame surrounding me, surrounding the house, and just saying in my mind, any being who's not of the light, you're not welcome here. And it's immediate. Whenever if I experience something trying to attack, it's immediate that the energy clears out. My solution is also owning my aura and protecting my field. Imagine you're a superhero, have fun, smile, and laugh. Yes, exactly. That's the thing.
I have a question, brother.
Yes.
So Lorenzo speaking.
Good to see
So
you,
right
bro.
now, Yeah, what's up, brother? Right now, currently, I'm over in Bradenton, which is about a few hours away from where I actually live, and I'm helping out my guardian, my legal guardian, at the Boys and Girls Club.
Work.
And a lot of the things that you speak about align with me perfectly. And my thing is now, and I put this on my Instagram a couple of days ago, is when we do this work, right? When we are actually embodying who we are, and I'm not saying we need to save the world, but when do we take the initiative to start bringing this knowledge to the youth? And
Mm.
I know that there's a thin line between parental guidance and mentor guidance, in a sense where you don't want to have them thinking this is a new religion or a new sense. But when is it when we start to take accountability to understand that the importance of what we're doing needs to be translated to the young ones who maybe have no idea that this knowledge is even out there and available for them? And I think that's my biggest piece here as well, because I fully believe in what you're doing, brother. That's why every time you show up, I show up. And I just think like Atlantis and what we were talking about a few weeks ago is perfect for this. And I just know that at some point we need to correlate this to the youth, because it's for naught if the youth don't have any idea that this stuff is there or we even exist to bring it to them.
Amen, bro. Yeah, amen. Thank you for being aware of that and asking that question. And I haven't actually thought about that, except for one, I know for me, the big answer that came to mind when you were speaking was that we do not need to stay trapped in the belief systems and the limiting things of our ancestors. We don't need to do that anymore. So just because they people who had lived in a world where it wasn't okay to be conscious and aware of this, why wasn't am I coming through okay, by the way? My internet just said I'm a little unstable. Looking good. Okay.
You weren't there for like 20 seconds.
Okay. So what to repeat, we do not need to stay in the ignorance of our ancestors, of our parents. This is a new world. And so the way that we teach that, I think at all times, it's good to teach that. If you're aware of energy, you're aware of energy. It's a science. That's the thing. This isn't that's the thing with people who have tried to say, oh, you're crazy, spirituality is just a joke. They aren't conscious of it, number one, but it's as real as this coffee cup here. It's as real as gravity. It's as real as our skin and our cells, right? It's all exists. It's science. It's just that we are more aware of things actually happening than what the traditional science tends to show. I actually I don't go to doctors personally, really ever. Like if I was in a drastic situation, I would, but I am intuitive with my body, because the science would say, oh, you feel bad, take this pill, right? And so the science is going to have that same mindset about consciousness, about being aware of these higher energies and frequencies. Why? Because people in power want to stay in power. And if others are conscious, then a few people can't stay in power because people are conscious. Okay. Let me think of things as a kid. I mentioned how I saw entities, right? I called them shadow people when I was a child. And I don't really see them often anymore, every once in a while, but not nearly as much as I did when I was a kid, which is fine. We can take experiences like that. I'm going to name a couple experiences as well that I had as a kid that I think lots and lots of other children or lots of other people have had. You guys have probably all experienced at one point or another. And so what we can do is take those things that we know those kids are experiencing and just explain to them exactly what's happening. For instance, one of the biggest things I had is that being so empathic, I was always tuned into people's thoughts. And the thing is when we tune into people's thoughts, I was going to school, right? Public school. And at one point I had one school where I had 80 kids in my grade. And then I had another school where I had like 700. And so going to school every day, either way, surrounded by a group of people. And being empathic, being someone who is in tune with these higher frequencies, just as probably a lot of you are on here, I was able to tune into all their thoughts, but I had no idea that's what I was doing. I was just like, dude, thinking I had all these bunch of voices in my head. Like I thought I was crazy. They would have probably called me schizophrenic. And so what I realized though, is that actually I was tuning into all these people's thoughts and I was thinking that they were coming from me. And so it would happen that sometimes I would go to bed when you're around people, you don't just like eliminate all the energy of their thoughts and feelings immediately. If you're away from them for a period of time, it does start to go away. But the more you're around someone, the more you tune into their thoughts, the more aligned your frequency is. And so going to school every day, I'm surrounded by these people, and I had countless sleepless nights where it's like, oh, I have all these thoughts going on. I'm overthinking. I have a million things going on in my mind. What the heck? You know, I'm thinking about this, and I'm thinking about this conspiracy, and I'm thinking about what am I going to wear tomorrow? And I'm thinking about how do those people feel about me? Thinking that these are all coming from me. But they're not. They're everyone else's thoughts, feelings, and frequencies. So no, I'm not schizophrenic. I maybe it could have been labeled that at one point by someone. But I'm glad I wasn't as conscious of it because I knew things, you know, when I was younger, I knew things like, all right, I said this and people said I was weird, so I'm just not going to talk about it, you know? So anyways, though, like that alone is an experience that I know many people go through. The overthinking, like I'm thinking so much, I can't sleep. It's 3 a.m. and I'm still thinking. I'm thinking about thinking now. Thinking about how I can't stop thinking. Those are not your thoughts. And so this is where what we can teach the kids. So what, just that alone, saying that, if someone would have told me that, came and told me that as a kid, oh my gosh, I'd have felt so much better. I thought I was crazy.
I know, same here, bro. Same here.
So that's another example of, you know, something also, you know, emotions, just like another example of, I went to Switzerland earlier this year, and where I was doesn't matter. I'm just stating because I remember that's what happened where I was. And we're walking down the road, and I had drank a Swiss root beer, basically, just to try it out. And it was a glass bottle, and I'm walking down the sidewalk, and all of a sudden I have this urge to throw this, after I drank this glass bottle, and throw it at a wall. I'm like, I feel intense. I just want to break something. And I was just gonna let it pass because I'm like, okay, it's random. That's so impulsive, you know. I'm not like that. I was just thinking positive, like, oh, here I am in Switzerland. To be honest, I think we'd probably smoked a joint, so I was really chilling, just like enjoying the city, right? And then I get this impulsive thought to like be violent. And then I just like, I for a minute I was gonna leave it, but then I said to my friends, I had a friend there with me, Luis. Some of you guys know Luis here, the cameraman in Tulum. And I was just like, dude, I just said to the group, there's like 4 of us there. I'm like, do you guys ever feel like you just get random, like violent thoughts? Like you just randomly feel like you want to do something violent. And to be super transparent, I had these thoughts sometimes where I was just like in front of someone, I just felt like punching them in the face. And then that's not me. And I'm like, what the heck? And I have that thought, and I'll be like, why am I thinking that? Like, that is definitely not me. Well, when I was in Switzerland, what I realized is that when I was walking down the street with this bottle, I announced that, like, hey guys, and I immediately said, I'm like, do you guys ever feel like violent sometimes? And my friend's like, whoa, like, did you just have a thought? I'm like, yeah, dude, I just felt like throwing my bottle at the wall. And my friend Luis was like, dude, I saw the train going by. I was about to throw my bottle at the train. I'm like, what the heck? And so we look back, and we literally, behind us, like 20 or 30 meters, we see this guy like walking down the street, pissed off. He was so angry. And all we had done is we had this violent thought. You know, in this case, it was simple. It was like breaking a bottle, right, against something. We had just walked by this dude who was super angry, and we were super peaceful. And so immediately we got this. I'm just showing you guys another example of something that this has happened to me my entire life. Not just the violent thoughts, but, you know, just the very like impulsive thoughts. That's like, okay, I wouldn't be like that. And so what I'm still working on is finding, like, being conscious of where these thoughts are coming from. That's a harder thing. Is if I'm in a group of people, it's hard to see exactly who and what, right? But more importantly, being aware when it happens, and then realizing, okay, I obviously have allowed my aura to be in a place where I am able to easily be affected by others. And so I need to go clear my energy, clear my space, clear my aura, stand in my power, right? Do some visualization, breathe some light into my body, breathe some light into my aura around me, right? There's more things. If you guys want, we can sometime go way more in depth. I have, there's a practice, if you guys have been around long enough, where I talk about staring at the wall, squeezing all your muscles for a little bit. That's like level 1 of the energy cultivation and protection practices out of maybe that I know of, like 10 to 12 different levels. So there's a lot of different things that I know of that have worked really well for me. So you guys can hit me up. But okay, so Lorenzo was asking a question. His question was, how do we express this to the youth? And my full tangent, I was giving you a couple different situations that I've experienced my entire life that I know kids who are conscious are experiencing these same things. And so when we can connect with them and we can tell them like, hey, I know what you're experiencing. Like, hey, like if they're going through challenges, just like be open and honest with them. What are you experiencing? Do you feel like you get some kind of crazy thoughts sometimes that you feel like don't come from you? Do you feel like you're in bed at night and you just can't sleep? You got all these thoughts, overthinking. Just being aware of someone who is unconscious of the fact that they can tap into all the thoughts, feelings, emotions, and energies around them, and they don't know it, right? Just being conscious and aware with them and telling them like, hey, you're not alone. That alone is going to do so much. So I vowed to talk about it more publicly. Yeah. But it's not always that you get like, there's a lot of people who aren't aware of it. They're not ready yet, and it is what it is. So checking messages, don't focus on the outer world, focus on you. And once your love overspills your cup, you will help others around you effortlessly. Exactly. So Alan's spitting so much truth. The key, one of the biggest secrets is to stay in your power, stay in your love, stay in your truth, and just know, like, especially when these things come up, these things happen, negative thoughts, anything like that, probably a good chance it's not from you. But also looking at yourself and asking, hey, is there part of me, like when I had the violent thoughts, is there part of me inside that's violent that maybe that thought frequency could have, triggered? Maybe, right? I played a lot of violent video games, like war video games when I was a kid and stuff like that. And so just realizing that, okay, well, yeah, although these other things are going around me and they can't affect me, it also, I got to look at myself at like, okay, what frequencies am I holding that might be inviting these energies to affect me? So anyway, yeah, it's a big one, guys. You're not alone. All right. We all here. We all have some kind of experience. And even if you are like, I have no idea what you guys are talking about. You just have had experiences that maybe you have not been able to explain, but we can explain it. We know. So there are practices, guys. There are belief systems. There are things you can do to expand this awareness. This is my spiritual practice now, consists of a lot of these practices of expanding my energy, expanding my spiritual awareness. But whether you do it or not, these things still exist. And part of this earthly realm is to master it at the highest levels, which is being aware of energy, being able to literally, I know that in this world, we can manipulate matter, and I believe that that's a big part of why we're here, is to manipulate, to learn, to literally create our world. Because I do believe that's what God wants us to. God, whatever God is, God wants us to become what God is. And it might take millions of lifetimes, but that's why we're here. I really believe that. One of the biggest reasons, anyway. So, okay. Last thing, any questions, guys? That was a whole tangent. Any other questions, comments, concerns, anything at all? No? Okay. If you're feeling good, then I'm feeling good. So what I'm going to go over today, charts, of course. Consciousness, though, number one is key. So just once again, being aware of energy. Actually, let me give you one practice really quick. I want to end it with that because I'm like, okay, protect your energy. But I didn't give you anything to do. So hold on, let me unplug my laptop from my screen because I'm going to set this up so I can do this. I'm not in a standing space. By the way, this is why sometimes, guys, I will take an Airbnb, even if it's 15 minutes from my house, just to get space to be with myself, be in my own energy. Even I love my girlfriend Mia, we vibe so much, but it's even good to get space to be in my own energy away from her. She's in New York right now anyway, so anyway. Okay. Here it is. So a lot of what I teach, one of the main, when it comes to working with energy and expansion, one of the main things I teach is breathing energy, visualizing it as white light. Anytime you feel negative about a situation, let's say you feel worried about something, like something's coming, maybe you have a meeting, or a date, or you have, I don't know, anything that you might feel anxious, worried about. One practice I do is I take if I ever feel anxious or nervous about it, I take that situation and I just breathe light into it. And the light I'm breathing into it, I'm taking it from the light, not taking it from, using it, redistributing it. It's not taking it, it's not negative because it's abundant, it's infinite energy. I'm utilizing the energy that is higher than the sun, the light that is greater than the sun. There is the sun, but there is the light that created the sun. Okay, that's the light I'm visualizing. If you can't visualize that, then just visualize the sun. It's more powerful. But the more you visualize the sun, you'll eventually be able to see a light greater than the sun. If you can't visualize a light greater than the sun, then that means that maybe your energy levels, your chi levels are depleted a little bit. Okay, so breathing in light, imagine the sun. You could do that into any. That's one of the things I practice though, is visualizing the light. What I want to share with you though is a protection practice, a shielding practice. This is shielding, and it goes like this. The same practice of breathing in light. I'm going to breathe in tons of light into first like 3 or 4 breaths, deep breaths, breathing light into my body, the same light. And I'll close my eyes. I'm visualizing this. Now, also, it's good to do this maybe after, if you've done the wall sitting practice. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can ask me for the video. I'll send it to you. But the practice where I talk about sitting on the wall, visualizing light coming into your body, you can definitely do that first to bring in energy before you do this. But for 2 to 3 breaths, and I'll move my body as well. Like I'll like do this, imagining I'm just filling with light. My whole being is just filling with light. And I'll envision myself as this being of white light. And then when I'm full of light, my body, then I start to breathe that light into the ground. And I start to imagine, so this is sometimes I like to open my eyes for this to visualize it better. But like in this case, you know, I can look out the window, right? I can see the jungle, you know, I can see nature. And what I like to do is visualize that I'm feeling, after I'm full of light, I'm filling everything with light, the whole earth full of light, big ball of light. And if you want to go even farther, you can then breathe light and pretend that you grow larger than the universe, like you're standing on top of the universe, and you breathe light into the entire existence. That's the next level. But the key is what we're doing is when we're breathing light into ourselves and into the earth, we're bringing in energy. We're bringing in tons of energy, okay? So I would do this for 3 to 10 breaths at least of bringing in this light. Just like that. That's literally my process, okay? And you saw my eyes were closed, move my body a little bit, but in my mind, the light is flooding in like a waterfall. I imagine it coming in through my head, and even if I'm breathing it into the earth, I imagine it coming through my body first. After 3 to 10 breaths, once I've done this, I take my sword mudra. This is the sword mudra, okay? We can send energy powerfully. Like, I don't know if you guys watch anime, but what's the anime? Yu Yu Hakusho, one of the best animes to ever exist. And the reason why I love anime, by the way, if you guys think anime is weird, you're weird. All right. Anime talks about spirituality, talks about consciousness. There's so much hidden knowledge in a lot of animes. Like, it's the best. I hated anime until a couple years ago when I actually started watching it. Okay, beyond the point. Yu Yu Hakusho, they talk about a spirit gun. This is a sword mudra. Sword mudra is something that's existed for a long time. Originally learned the sword mudra in Hinduism. Through Hinduism. And so sword mudra, what you do after you breathe in the energy, you do the sword mudra. Once again, this is what it looks like. And you stretch your 2 fingers straight out in front of you. Best to start facing east. Not a big deal if you're not, but best to start facing east. And you're going to imagine all this light that you breathe in. You breathe this light into the earth. You breathe this light into your body. You're going to imagine it coming up through your feet, through your body, through your fingers. And what you're going to do, I imagine also I'm breathing light as well as I'm breathing while it's happening. I'm going to walk in a circle and draw a hula hoop of light around me. If you need to close your eyes to imagine it, then you do it. Okay, so I'm going to take this. I'm breathing light all the way around, right? Going in a full circle. And so once I've gone in a full circle, I imagine this hula hoop of light around me, basically. I'll take for another 2 or 3 breaths. I'll breathe light into that hula hoop to make it super, super bright. Once it's really bright, I then take my hands, close my eyes. I move it over my head to close like a dome. And then I bring it down, my hands down as well, close it below my feet like a dome. Like now I have this basically egg-shaped shield around me, okay? And then I'll take 2 to 3 breaths, maybe 5, maybe 10. And the more I want to shield myself, the better. And I'm just going to breathe light, breathe light, breathe light to make it brighter and brighter and brighter. Now, if you want to add extra power to it, then what you could also do is, whatever, if you think of a god, goddess, or angel of protection, you can think of whatever in your mind is the most powerful god, goddess, or angel of protection, and you can call upon their power, okay? Now, their power, angels might not exist. I believe they do, but I believe they're very different than what most people think. I don't believe they're flying people, people with wings on their backs, right? I think it's completely different than what people think, but doesn't matter. Even if they don't exist, all the people who have ever prayed to that god, goddess, or angel have sent it power with the intention of protection. And you can tap into that power of all the other millions of people at bare minimum. Okay, energy exists. Whether you like it or not, whether you're conscious of it or not, it exists. So all the people have sent the energy to this being. So I like to use Archangel Michael, or in Spanish, San Miguel is his name. And so I like to envision Archangel Michael as well, who is associated with the color red. And the picture I have in my mind is the same guy with, the angel we talked about with the wings on his back and got a big sword, right? And I'll imagine I created this shield, breathe light into it, and then I might say a little prayer in the name of Archangel Michael. Or I also practice Hinduism a lot, and Hanuman is the protector, the monkey god. And I love Hanuman. I was a Hanuman devotee for years, chanting all the time to Hanuman and praying to Hanuman. And Hanuman's also a protector, and so he's got a lot of power and protection. So I might call in Hanuman as well. Whoever is most powerful in my mind, that's the key, is whatever you believe is the most powerful. But you breathe energy to it, and you can just say, in the name of Archangel Michael, right? Or you can say, in the name of the divine creator. You can go all the way there. I breathe this light, and I create this shield to protect me from all external energies, forces, beings, or entities that might want to affect me in any way. Period. What you're doing is you breathe the energy, you created the energy, and now you're imbuing it with your intention, okay? That this protects me. And your words are spelling, right? Your words are creating your world. And so when you breathe, when you say into what you're creating, what you're breathing light into, what your intention is, it will set that intention. Now, I'm going to clarify. I'm going to go even more. I know we're flowing today. So welcome, guys. I want to expand a little tiny bit and show you, it's more than just protecting yourself in this current moment. You can then do the same thing. And let's say you're about to go out for the night, or you're about to travel, you're going to get on an airplane and fly across the world. You can then after you breathe all this energy in, you can imagine a shield around the airplane that you're flying in, and imagine it's shielded and covered in a shield the whole time you're flying. Once we start to work with energy in the quantum, we can step out. We're not so attached to time, okay? And so, yes, what I'm saying is you can bless future and past versions of yourself, right? You can bless future experiences, and you can bless and breathe light into previous experiences, okay? This is one big secret of reprogramming the subconscious, and also implanting future experiences, future memories for yourself to experience, okay? So use your own imagination. I don't teach as heavily on that stuff as I would like. Very selective with just where it just depends on where people are at. And I base who I teach this off of the questions that they ask me. And so that anyway, but you guys are here today. You called this in. So thanks for all your energy and contribution, because I helped to continue to grow it. To grow the energy, to expand on it. So anyways, reading the messages really quick. Be Like Water. Yes. Best anime of all time. Yu Yu Hakusho is the best. So there you go. I feel like I'm in an anime right now. Yes, we are basically. Good to see you, Kian. Yeah, I'm glad that you like it. This practice, is shielding practice, is something I've done a million times. And that's the thing, guys, is you have to realize it's not just a one and done thing. Just like this world, it's a world of doing. Okay, we came to this physical world, part of it, right? Like brushing your teeth. It'd be awesome if we could just brush our teeth once and they were brushed forever, right? That'd be so cool, right? I'm sure all of us would love that, but that's just not the way that this world works, right? So when we expand out of this world, great, we could do that. But we actually chose to come to this world because it was really boring just being a divine infinite being all the time without any growth or expansion or feelings, So anyways, bringing it back. But yeah, this is something to do consistently, and it's also cultivated. That's what I mean is it compounds. That's the difference between brushing your teeth and working with energy. Is the more you work with energy, the stronger it gets. Right? Doesn't work the same with brushing your teeth. But how long have we been going on that? I don't know. I feel like we've been probably at least 30, 40 minutes. But that's okay. It's what was needed. If I got into flow like that, talking about that, then it was what was needed. And everyone has different methods, as we're all unique. Use your imagination and find out what works for you. Yes, thank you, Alan. He's right. And that's why I say, like, whatever you see in your mind, you know, from your memories, when I talked about calling on a higher being, you're just calling on your memories, your intentions, your thoughts, your feelings about that being, you know? But it's good to really visualize something that is greater than you, has maybe where you feel at least has more power than you do. So you're summoning that energy. And if it does actually have more power than you, great, right? If it's a god or an angel, there's a chance it probably does, right? But at minimum, it's your idea of it. It's the fact that you know that this thing that you're bringing in has more power than whatever the thing is that you're banishing. But also realizing that you have the full power with your own divinity, with your own power, your own energy, your own light, that you can do this on your own. But it's okay to, like, why wouldn't we call in help if we could use it, right? Why not? Like, that's what angels, gods, goddesses, and stuff are for, right? We can call on that for help. So, okay. Any other questions, comments, concerns? We can keep going. I will go into charts. I don't have a lot planned for today, except for just being with myself and working with my my life coach. But yeah, any questions, any comments? Feeling good? Heck yeah. Okay, guys. So for those of you that didn't get to see it, just to summarize what we talked about, so you can watch for the recording later, I'll post it to the Discord. I'll also post it in the Signal. I talked about energy entities being conscious, how they're existing, whether or not you're conscious of it. I also talked about a way to shield yourself from it, a little bit more in depth, but also how to, I want you to use your imagination. When I talked about breathing light into situations, past situations, future situations, I really want you to start to use your imagination there. That knowledge alone is something that most people will go their entire lives and never know. Oh, I can actually send energy to manifest things in my life. Oh, I can actually send energy to previous experiences to where the traumas actually don't, if it's traumatic, it doesn't affect me as much. Or I can send energy to those experiences that were really powerful and happy and abundant, and I can expand them so they affect my subconscious even at a higher level. What? Yes. So use your imagination. And once again, just reach out to me if you have questions. But we're powerful. You are literally a divine baby God. So, okay. Shall we get into charts? Let's do it. Feeling good about charts. I've had some change in heart on crypto a little bit in the recent days, but not like heavy change, but just like a short-term change in heart. Cool. It says it's sharing my screen, so I feel like you guys can see it. I'm gonna go straight to Bitcoin and tell you what I see. Okay, let's go to the monthly first. And I'm just gonna start from the very beginning. So I know that a lot of you here, you've just heard me, and I don't want to repeat my same Bitcoin analysis over and over, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you just a little bit about, like, more in the context of why I'm feeling a little differently. If you've been listening to me, you know that over the past few months, especially, like, since probably like 50K, I've been like, all right, guys, I think it's headed down. And I was actually really happy as heading down. Like, I've been feeling good. The more we go down, the better I feel, because that means the more opportunity and the more upside that we're going to experience. Couple things though, we've been moving down really strong for a while. So because we've been moving down, because I've been able to see in the past, I got to come in like mid in crypto, it was like mid 2016-ish. Mid to late 2016, I started buying Ethereum and Bitcoin, and I got super, super lucky. I'll say, just the timing, I aligned with it, right? I created it. but I made so much money all through 2017, and then I lost all of it and some more 2018, 2019. But what I got to do is see that whole market cycle. That's why I call myself lucky, because I got to be present for a whole market cycle. So I got to be able to see now 2 market cycles. I don't think that we've experienced the full bull market cycle, or sorry, the full bear market cycle yet. Obviously we haven't experienced the full as bullish as crypto will become, but I do believe that we have some space to go up a little bit over the coming weeks, months. I wouldn't say years at the moment. I actually do believe, initially I was thinking, we'll go to Ethereum too. I was honestly thinking that Bitcoin could only go to like 12,000, but now I'm actually pretty strong in my belief that I think it could go down to 2 or 3, maybe 3, maybe 5. But I don't think it's going to happen immediately. On the monthly here, I look at Bollinger Bands. If you know me, I look at Bollinger Bands a lot, and I work really, really well with my trading style with price action. But very clearly on the bottom Bollinger Band here, notice how we were not able to easily close outside of the bottom Bollinger Band. And even though we didn't really have a strong bounce yet, we did just get a little bit of some reversal price action. Mainly I'm talking about this hammer, but also the fact that we tested this bottom band, and with each attempt at a downward movement, we have not yet moved lower. Now, this doesn't mean that we're going to go up, right? I still believe overall we're going down. And for me, for the most part, this is going to be a thing that I don't really trade. Like I have right now, out of all my crypto money in and ready for crypto, I'm still going to stay at, it was 20%, right? But I put more money in my portfolio. So now I'm at about 15% that's actually in crypto. And 15% that's actually exposed. The rest are in stable coins or in dollar coins, mostly DAI, DAI. And just chilling, waiting for for me, I'm either going to buy more lower or I'm going to buy more higher. And I believe it'll be the first one. The first one, a lot lower. But once again, I do believe that we're going to come up, we're going to experience some a relief pump. That'll be pretty good. And so we can capitalize on it. Should you choose, should you want to. I do want to pull up, and it was actually good because I was already going to talk about this anyway. Shout out to Ricardo. I don't know if he's on here right now, but Ricardo's here in the Signal, and Ricardo shared his Bitcoin chart yesterday. He said he took a long on Euro USD, so we'll check that out. And then also Bitcoin. He drew this trade out on Bitcoin. Looks like this was the 4-hour, and this also looks really good. Let's go to the 4-hour on Bitcoin. What he was seeing. Boom. Okay. So yeah, basically looks like he was looking at right here. Now it does totally look like we could see some support here. What I like is, okay, we moved up really strong, and when we moved up strong, we overtook a lot of previous resistance, right? We can just draw a line here and show how many times this area was resistance. Now we did break above it over here though too, and we ended up moving down below. So we have to just realize in context, it doesn't mean this is the strongest area. However, we did break above, we came down below again, and we came back above. And this time when we came above, even though it's a wick, we did go a little bit higher than before. We're more interested in the candle bodies, but also look how this candle body closed above this previous high. So that tells us that there's a little bit of buying action going on. However, this doesn't look right now like I would buy. Like it definitely looks like it could come down. But also notice here on the daily, I just went to the daily. Here's where we pumped up really strong. We came down a little bit, came up again. And notice now we've had 3 bearish candles in a row on the daily, and they have not been able to overtake this previous bullish movement, which is only 2 candles. You see? So overall, the flow towards the sellers is pretty weak. Sellers don't have a lot of strength right now. And not saying that they may not. What it kind of looks like to me is maybe some sideways and potentially even some upside, especially because this pump, look at how since September 7th on the daily chart, we have not been able to close outside of the bottom Bollinger Bands, right? But multiple times we have closed outside. Oh, says my internet connection's unstable, but I think it's back. Multiple times we have closed above or outside the top Bollinger Band. Okay. So that's a main or a powerful signal that tells us where there's more where the momentum is likely to go. When we close outside of the top Bollinger Band, it means that we're more likely to continue to that direction, right? It means the same thing for the bottom. So that's one thing that I've been paying attention to now, kind of looking at that I wasn't really before. On the weekly here as well, we are in a tight squeeze. We have not been in a squeeze like this on the weekly, this tight, since October 2020. And look what happened there. Look how powerfully we moved. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to move up, but the recent momentum kind of says upside. Now, for me, okay, if we're going to move up, what are the levels that I look at? If you want to go to the low time frames, I don't touch the low time frames on crypto. And therefore, if we do move up and we move up strong, which it feels pretty good, like we will, I don't think it's going to be continuation to a new bull run. I think it's just to find a lower high, to give some relief. Once again, if we come out to the monthly chart here, we have not had any relief in a while, right? Just like when we went up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles, and then we got bearish candles for a few in a row. Well, we went down 1, 2, 3. We got some relief here, and then we went down 1, 2, 3. But the relief wasn't nearly as strong as look at this downward relief, how strong this downward movement was after this upward. So I would anticipate something similar to that we move up strong. And the first level to me, I'm going to draw a little box of the area that I would look for. But it's going to be where I would see the most potential for resistance, which is that box right there. Seeing? So I would say that potentially this area, so somewhere max around 36,000 to 30, maybe even 30,000, maybe even a little lower. So before I was saying if we close above 30, then I'm going to maybe start looking for buys. Although that is still somewhat true. Closing above 30 can mean it goes to 33, 34, 35,000 before I were to actually really start to buy heavy, because I'm more of a flow trader. There's a big difference. Honestly, any successful trader I know, all the successful traders I know, they don't catch all the tops and bottoms. They just don't. They usually, once a top or a bottom is created, they usually get in the move after the confirmation. Now, some of you know Kian, who's on here. He has an awesome Fibonacci system he created that helps us to see potential areas or the most obvious levels where we could see reversals. But in the end, I go as a trader, I'm looking for what's closest to guaranteed as possible. Okay. And so as a trader, I want to, I love to compare it to surfing because I feel like it's so similar. I'm just looking to ride the wave. And so if I'm as a surfer trying to go catch the waves, I'm probably not going to catch the first wave. I might. There's some times where I catch the first wave, but it's rare, right? Most of the time, if I'm surfing, I'm not a big surfer, by the way. I'm just visualizing because it's the same as everything else. Because to learn to trade, right, you have to learn the patterns. You got to learn how to chart. You got to learn, the direction, what are higher lows, what is resistance, what's support, right? All the basic stuff. You got to learn all that, right? Just with surfing, you got to learn how to paddle. You got to learn how to push yourself up on the board. You got to learn how to balance, lean left, lean right, right turn. So it's a very similar thing. But in the end, once you know all that stuff, you're just riding the wave. With trading, once you know all of it, you're just riding the wave. And so my style of trading, which I find is most successful traders trade this way, is it's getting into the flow, finding what the flow, and more importantly, even maybe catching on to what the flow is about to do before the flow starts to move, So usually what that means for me is most trades I get in, I'm already in on the momentum. I'm already getting in after something has happened. So for instance, with Bitcoin, that's why I say I'm either going to buy higher or lower when I buy more, because I just feel like it's got to experience more downside before we can really go to the highs that we know we'll experience. 100,000, sure. 1 million eventually, right? 1 million, I think it could be 10, 20 years. That's okay. But I do think it will hit that eventually. And so to really, to do that, it's not going to be in one go, number one. And number two, if I buy at 40,000, right, versus buying at 20,000, in the grand scheme, if it goes to $1 million, it's not going to be a huge difference, right? I mean, in this case, 20 to 40,000, that's one Bitcoin you could have experienced. That's why, but as a trader, we don't know. We just don't know. You can never be 100%. So to protect ourselves, I go with, what do I believe in my opinion, not in someone else's trading opinion, not in some Twitter trader's opinion, not anything else, but in my opinion, what do I think is most likely to happen? And why do I think that? Do I actually have data, reasons behind why I think that? And if I have more reasons and more data to back up why it's going to go up, for instance, versus what I have for when it's going to go down, well, then I'm going to stick to that, right? I'm just going to go do the most logical thing. But in the end, we still don't know 100% what will happen. And so that's why we use risk management. We realize as traders, every single trader, don't care who you are, every bot, everyone loses. Everyone loses, right? It's realizing that losses will come, you know. At my very best, I'm like just over 75% profit. That's my very best. This year I've been around probably like 71%. Okay. And so realizing, yeah, that's awesome. But that means that there's basically 3 out of 10 trades that I'm not making, 3 out of 10 trades that I am losing. Okay. And so that will always happen as a trader. So we just have to protect ourselves and know, no matter how confident we might feel in a trade, we still have to protect ourselves. Okay. So how am I protecting myself? Once again, I don't have a lot in. Number one. Number two, I'm waiting for the momentum. And if we look clearly, the momentum has been to the downside. But yes, it definitely is starting to shift a little bit. So I would not be surprised, and I would actually anticipate in crypto a bit of a bull run. I think it's going to be short-lived. When I say short-lived, you know, I think it could go into January, February at most. But then I do think that we're going to go down a little lower. Another huge thing is crypto. You know, we got to look at fundamentals a bit. I think fundamentals affect crypto more than anything else. That's why when I teach people how to actually make consistent income, we teach Forex, because it's a lot more data driven. You know, you can experience a lot more consistency with Forex, because there's a lot more speculation in stocks and especially in crypto. And so the fundamentals they work better in crypto and in stocks. They don't work as well in Forex. But that's also because of that, you know, there's a lot more craziness that can happen. There's just a lot more volatility in both, especially in crypto, but also in the stock market. That doesn't really it's not necessary, you know, a lot of times. Like the GameStop thing that happened last year, everyone knows about that. You know, like it's just not necessary. So because of that, like I just like to if I want to create a consistent income, then Forex is the best way to do that, because it's like I can go off of the technicals, and the technicals are usually will tell you that something's going to happen way before it does. And then some news will come out that will justify what the technicals already said. So hold on, I'm just grabbing my glasses really quick. So yeah, I'm a very much so technical trader. There's different things. You can look at how the Russian ruble, before it tanked, before when they invaded Ukraine, you could have seen, like, that was in February, right? And you can see in like October of last year how the currency was about to start heading down. So anyway, I pull up Twitter because Twitter is a great place for crypto. Crypto Twitter, it's a whole thing, and it's a good place to get a tune on the market. The challenge, though, is if you're not an experienced trader, it's really easy to get on Twitter and start and doing Twitter trading. You know what I mean by Twitter trading is like following other people's trades instead of your own. And so especially if you're at a point where you can analyze your own charts, you know, if you've been trading, even if it's on a demo account, if you've been trading, you've been able to make trades, you've been able to see how when you make those trades and make your analysis, it plays out for you. Obviously it doesn't happen 100% of the time. Then you're at a point where you don't need to be listening. You know, if someone says buy Bitcoin, like, you better go analyze it yourself way before, you know, you better buy it because you're doing it. So I'm trying to see right here, MicroStrategy, purchase ETH. I just searched Bitcoin and some weird stuff's coming up for sure. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm checking the pulse what do people believe? Prior to every uptrend, there needs to be reversal of money flow. So this guy is saying it's a bullish chart. Okay. What I'm trying to do is by searching the hashtag Bitcoin, I am looking for what the idea is. Is there more fear or is there more greed? Are people euphoric or are people like, oh, this is going to zero? So with crypto specifically, I want to look at like a lot of the influencers. I do have notifications of specific Twitter accounts that I follow that are really big and I trust their word. And so I look at like what they do usually. And I don't make like a decision on it, but I just want to see where they're at. So one of my favorite is Angelo BTC. He's been in crypto since, like 2012, 2013. And he's one of the longest traders that's been around in crypto. And he rarely tweets, like October or March 9th. This one was October 29th. Before that, October 6th. Before that, August 14th. So, okay, on August 14th, he called Dogecoin at 0.07. He said it's going to go up to over $1. So he's really bullish right now. And if we look at Dogecoin, he called it in August. It actually has gone up by a lot. USDT pumped recently. So he called it literally down at the bottom. How cool is that? 0.07. It's already up 100%. He called that in August. So he's someone that I follow, just a good account to kind of pay attention to. I don't follow to make decisions off of their trades. I follow to see these people who have been in it for a long time. Now, some of them are trolls. Some of them will post like, oh, it's all going to crash. But in reality, they're buying, right? So you have to be really wary that these people who are influencers, especially in the crypto space, most of them do not care about you. They only care about making money. And so they'll tweet things, they'll do things. That's why watching news for crypto and investments is not good, because they're going to tell you what's going to benefit them. It's really accurate. CNBC Money, it's like one of the popular news stations about money in the US. They talk about crypto sometimes. And it's funny how I remember watching a video. They posted a video of how to buy XRP a long time ago, or how to buy Dogecoin. And they posted that literally like 3 weeks before the market tanked. So it just tells you that like they're teaching people how to buy stuff they need exit liquidity. They like in trading, and especially in crypto where it's such a small market, you need as many people to buy as you can. If you're a big person, is a big whale, if you got billions of dollars in crypto that you're trying to sell, you need to find people who buy billions. And there's not a lot of individuals. If you're a billionaire trying to sell it, there's probably not other billionaires trying to sell it. So you get the people to buy it, And so just pay close attention to that. But anyways, this guy also, it's not FOMO if you get in before $1. So he thinks Dogecoin is going to go crazy. So that could be fun to buy Dogecoin if you feel it. I think it'll probably blast off too. I don't really care to buy it, but yeah. I find, so he's one that I watch. Another one is Crypto Kobe. He has a podcast. They talk about things, but he doesn't always post charts and stuff. So I'm mostly though on Twitter, all my Twitter, see, I get random weird ones, like I've had a couple random like retweets of girls. I'm looking for though with my Twitter, it's mostly crypto, and I'm just looking to see exactly what it is that people are talking about, like to see what they're saying and see what the feel is. I don't honestly get on Twitter very much. I'm very much so in my own charts, but Twitter has helped me a lot to just like see what other people are thinking. And for the most part, depending on who they are, I want to do the opposite of what most people are saying and thinking. And I will tell you that there's a lot of people right now in crypto that are more fearful that it's going to go lower than there are people that are like excited it's going to go up. And so because of that, I'm going to be more likely to expect it to maybe go up because people are scared it's going to go down. So anyways, for me, I'm not changing my plan though. I'm either going to buy more higher, or I'm going to buy more lower. There might be a couple other coins though that I do get into. I've been definitely buying some Solana. You want to buy, like, look at how much Doge is just pumped. Like, look at how we came down and we came to this flat sideways for a while. Look at Solana. We came down strong and we've gone this flat sideways for a while now. So like Solana has not yet pumped, and we can look at, like, literally look at Dogecoin, what it looks like. And it looks the exact same. The exact same, except it just pumped. So what I would do is find something or multiple things that have not yet pumped and that are adding lots of value. Okay. Polkadot looks great. XRP just pumped. So it will probably go up, but yeah, I'm feeling kind of bullish on crypto over the short term. So anyway, we also got to pay attention to the stock market, kind of see that will obviously affect things. On the daily chart, it's been more bullish recently, which is good. It tells me, they've been saying doom and gloom, trying to get it as low as they can, get people to buy or to sell and be scared. And so now the daily seems to be coming up. So we could, the weekly has been really strong as well. We just had this strong weekly candle here. We had a strong wick. This is the S&P 500, by the way. So this is representing the whole stock market, the US stock market to me. We just closed a strong candle above, what is this little downward movement, right? We hit this resistance level potentially, and we didn't have a wick on this bullish candle. And this current weekly candle, we haven't moved down really strong. So we go to the daily, it does look like we could have some kind of retest, maybe come down to that moving average. Maybe my chart will switch. My internet must be slow. Let's try again. Go weekly. Let me try to refresh it. Yeah, my internet's not liking it right now for some reason, but we're okay. Slow and slowly. What I do want to check though is if we could get charts to pull up. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a minute. Maybe that'll help to let it load. And I can just chat for a little bit. But anyway, so game plan for me with crypto, short term, I could go up. Definitely, if you buy stuff, make sure just like be present with the chart, look at it. And if it has pumped recently, don't get into it. If it has not pumped recently, then okay. And make sure they're adding value, but also be ready, be aware that anything you buy, it could go lower. Like I firmly believe no matter how high it goes over the next, couple weeks or couple months, that we're going to hit another peak and we're probably going to go lower. And I don't think we're going to make new highs on this one. Not at all. We're in a downtrend. We just gotta have some relief, on the end, right? Let's look at 2017. Like, look at how we came down. We had some strong relief, came down strong again. We had some good relief. And we can even talk about after that, we went all the way down. We had a really good amount of relief all through the end of 2018 into 2019, June 2019. And that wasn't the bull run, right? We didn't actually start the bull run until like technically 2020, right? So anyway, that's how we feeling. This goes to show it's the same thing with Ethereum. Got to realize Bitcoin and Ethereum both have kind of pumped recently. But yeah, so I'm just kind of just watching, just waiting. So I think my internet just isn't feeling it, guys. So it might be a good time to slow it down for me. Let's see. Lorenzo says, I encourage everyone to consider checking out Fib training with Kian. He's really developed a system that helps further the technical analysis that Cody's referring to. I've seen levels be reached, and of course, the news has pushed it to the levels. For example, the Russian currency Cody mentioned was testing a level over and over before the conflict they engaged in. So it's showing signs of exhaustion, and of course, the drop happened. There you go. Exactly. Yeah, Keon and I will chat more. I know I have a couple people that are, Keon sometimes puts on some group coaching, some trainings for his Fibonacci system. And I know I have at least a couple people that are ready to get into that again. So we may announce that sometime soon. But also we got the holidays and all that coming up. So I've just been so busy with the event and everything. I honestly, this is the first time I've talked to Keon, you know, it's just over Zoom, in like at least 2 weeks or so. So good to see you. It's just because everything else is
Hi guys.
It's a cool background. Whatever that painting is behind you, looks really cool.
Yeah, I'm in a coffee shop. The owner is this South Korean woman named So Young, and she does all the art for the whole coffee shop. And she's
Amazing.
just like a super peaceful woman, and she just flows through the room and like brings positive energy.
Amazing. I love that, bro. I love
Yeah.
good vibes like that. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
heck yeah. What's the name of the coffee shop?
And yeah, guys, just about where I've been at. I've been on a deep personal healing journey. Some childhood trauma came up for me, and I had to step away from work. But it's definitely been like the last 2 weeks. I've been on charts every day, getting back into work and healing through some of the stuff that's come up. So I appreciate your patience, Cody, with me. I know I haven't been very present, but
Okay.
looking forward to reconnecting.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And everyone, like, it's been I think a lot of people here have kind of experienced some things come up. The last couple months have definitely been a good test, you know. It's just like the charts with the tides of the ocean, what goes up must come down at times. We can, with higher energy cultivation techniques, we can kind of separate ourselves from those ebbs and flows and kind of be in our own consistent upward trend. You know, there's some dips here and there. But in the end, you know, everything happens in cycles on this earth, and we are on this earth. And so we just have to embrace that and realize that when the ebbs happening, we just rest and we take back and be with ourselves. And that's the best thing you can do. And when the flows happen, you know, you just do what you feel. So I fully intend, you know, a big part of what I'm doing is to create better community. So we got it. Yeah, we definitely got it. Oh, did they just come through? My internet's so bad, it's like cutting in and out. Were you saying something again? Oh, maybe my internet's just done so.
No, I wasn't, Cody. Just listening to you.
Oh, okay, word. Yeah, my internet's coming really slow, guys. I think it's just a sign to call it. So sending blessings. If you guys, I have let's see. Oh, B also mentioned the fib system. It's amazing. Yeah, everyone that's been through the fib system and actually studied it, they say the same thing. So just know that. Lastly, hold on, I'm gonna turn my camera off, I think, because that's like it'll maybe help it come through. I want to make sure I'm not freezing with the words that I'm saying. I just want to say, yeah, we're here. I'm building more community. Definitely, we're gonna be doing consistent live streams like starting next week. I already do a little live stream every Wednesday, but I mean more consistent live streams like 4 or 5 a week. So check it out. Stay tuned. I'll send texts out. Eventually it's going to be subscription like in the next few weeks, like $33. That's it. But if you want to know more, if you're on here, you want to know more about trading, you want to know more about consciousness, like if you really want to like take your life to the next level, and most importantly, if you're ready to put in the energy to do it, it doesn't happen overnight. Okay. It does not. But if you're ready to put the time in, hit me up. Let me know. I know I got a message on here from someone. So, you know who you are as a private message. What I want you to do is reach out to me on Instagram. Okay. Reach out to me on Instagram if you're ready to take it to the next level. Seriously, energetically, we can talk. I have a full like coaching program for trading where I guarantee profitability, but I do like consulting, you know, we can do one-on-one stuff, just talking about energy and consciousness and stuff. I don't have a full program laid out for that. I do have a subconscious programming video course I created. But yeah, anything you want, just reach out to me. I flow. So I like to work with anyone who's really, really ready to like work with themselves, really ready to put the time and the energy. So I do charge for my time, but also I realize like some people just don't have it. And for me, what's more important is the energy and focus that you put in. So even if you're in a place where you don't have a lot of money to invest in yourself, but you know that maybe what I've talked about today and working and going deeper with it could really help you, don't hesitate to reach out. I have some things that I can share with you. Some things and I made some things to get money in your pocket quicker, you know, and I have some free things I can share with you too, that you'll start to notice some changes, some expansion in your life. So best bet right now, though, reach out to me on Instagram. That's where we're getting the fastest response at the moment. Okay. So, all right, guys, appreciate you all. Thanks for being present. And at bare minimum, tune in for next week, but we might now announce a couple of the live streams between now and next Wednesday. So, okay. All love, guys. Blessings.